It is unacceptable that we continue to uncover cybercrime committed by China against America and other nations. We want China to cease its illegal cyber activities and honor its commitment to the international community. But the evidence suggests that China may not intend to abide by its promises.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein on the escalating diplomatic crisis with China, the U.S. accusing 2 Chinese nationals tied to the Ministry of State Security of hacking our country's biggest internet service providers and government computer systems. Meantime, China has detained a 3rd Canadian citizen over the case of a Chinese tech company executive being held in Canada pending extradition to the U.S. So how might all this impact U.S.-Chinese relations as it negotiates trade policy? Joining us to discuss is Dr. Rebecca Grant, a national security and military analyst, as well as president of IRIS Independent Research. Great to see you.
Good to be here.
Detaining Canadians. Doesn't everyone love the Canadians? What's your read on that move?
I am shocked that these Canadians have been detained. It's a really stupid move on the part of China because it ends any chance for the world to be sympathetic to Huawei's point. China is acting like a communist dictatorship, not like the world power they want to be. But you know what? They are a communist dictatorship, and they're a terrible cyber hacking threat.
How does this impact the Chinese desire to build out the 5G networks in places like Canada and elsewhere?
Well, this is the really big issue because China's Huawei, which is a huge telecom company, is trying to help build out the 5G next generation cellular networks. The U.S. has said, no way, get out. And so has Britain. But Canada is still debating whether to allow Huawei to participate in Canada's 5G network. So detaining a pair of Canadian citizens is an incredibly stupid move as Trudeau's government decides whether to let China participate or not.
And we're showing the 2 gentlemen on our screen now. There's a 3rd Canadian being held. Is enough being done to go after Chinese hackers from the American perspective?
Well, there's been a huge development as Director Wray has talked about. What happened is a case from New York has now been unsealed, and we see a tremendous indictment going all the way back to 2006 of Chinese state-sponsored advanced persistent threat. These are Chinese military personnel who have been hacking into U.S. and world companies for at least a dozen years, a who's who. And as Director Wray says, this is rampant theft, and we cannot permit this to happen in the international system.
Can you speak a little bit more about the benefits the Chinese have gotten in terms of what they've learned from hacking American innovations?
Yeah, absolutely. And Director Wray was really clear about this, too. Basically, China, with this spear phishing and hacking, is going after all the hard work of American innovation. For example, China says they will unveil a stealth bomber sometime next year. If they do that, guarantee they will have used some information that they hacked from aerospace companies to try to design this to compete with the U.S. and with our allies. So it's really wrong. And as Director Wray says, we have to continually work together, all of us, to deflect this spear phishing and avoid this and not let China do this illegal and unethical hacking activity.
And of course, stealth technology is one of the big edges the United States military has on the battlefield, so that's pretty stunning development.
Right, absolutely. Our stealth technology, and we are still the world leaders, but this helps us with our B-2 bombers, F-22s, and F-35 fighters to maintain deterrence for us and for our allies in the Pacific. So we don't want China to hack into or steal any of that or anything else in electronic warfare or advanced communications. And believe me, they're really trying to do it. And as Ray says, illegal, unethical, and it has to stop.
Do you expect Beijing to learn a lesson from all this, perhaps realizing the West is not going to put up with their bad behavior going forward?
Well, here, that's the fascinating question, Mike. What kind of lesson will they learn? We see the pushback from the trade tariffs, and it really shocked Beijing's leadership. But the question is, are they going to participate with other states and be a good international partner? Huawei says they've worked with international firms for many years. It's a huge company, second largest maker of smartphones. But until China learns to play by the rules of the international system, we have to be suspicious. And our top top 5 intelligence chiefs around the world have told Canada specifically not to let Huawei work on Canada's 5G network. So the threat is real. Beijing has to change course. We can't let them go on like this, and we can't see them grow into the world power they want to be until they can learn to play by some of the rules of the international system. Hard to say if they will or won't.
All right, Dr. Rebecca Grant, fascinating picking your brain. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
It's the nation.